Is there anyone here? Hello? Is that you, Andrew?
Oh, hey.
Oh, well, nice. Well, I guess we can get started with the daevatavern then.
All right, sounds good.
Let's go!
Let's do it.
So yes, here we are for the ninth episode actually of the daevatavern. Obviously we are not sitting next to each other because we are abiding the laws concerning social distancing and such things, and we encourage you to actually do the same, please. That's very, very important for everyone. So yes, today the main focus will be obviously on the patch 7.5 that is going to reach the shores of Europe very soon, in a few days. You already probably saw some teasers, some information, mostly because of the early access server that is already available, on which you can play 7.5, which doesn't have yet all the adjustments from our side, but yeah, giving you a good idea. So don't hesitate to go there and have a look by yourself. And we decided today to bring you a bit more information on the patch itself, maybe what's the most exciting in this patch, and also some exclusive info regarding the GF adjustments that we usually do for such patches. Are we ready, Andrew? Can we start now?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so my main point of focus, the first one, would probably be PvP, because PvP has a huge part in 7.5. Can you maybe tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so with 7.5 we're making some adjustments to PvP overall. So this will include some changes to the old zones and even some new zones. Well, a new zone. So the first new zone we're going to encounter here will be Silentria Canyon. This will be the newest zone, and this update will include 2 world bosses to this zone. And it will also have the ultimate gear progression path here and some new level 80 items. But there'll be other changes as well to other zones, so some of the changes you'll be seeing will be inside Ingerson and Gelkamaros. Here you'll find some new additions like new world bosses in each of these regions to assist you in your progression for the ultimate gear, a Dredgen that has some unique activation features, new garrison weekly quests, and access to the new vision weapons. These maps will also now include fortresses. Each map will have 2 fortresses each, and these sieges will be belong to the classic PvE siege system, meaning that they can only be attacked, they can't be defended. Once the siege begins, you'll need to destroy the gate, enter the fortress, and then kill the boss. You'll also find artifacts located around the map that will give you invaluable assistance during these encounters. Lacrim, Dumaha, and Catalan will also feel some changes here with the addition of rifts. However, you'll need your hourglass and to be level 80 to do this. Raging Valley will be our newest battlefield for this patch. This battlefield comes with some unique features as well. The main addition to this is the fact that your gear doesn't matter as much here anymore. All your stats will be normalized, so you will all go in and you will have the same stats. However, your stigmas and deviation skills will retain their upgraded values here.
Okay, so if we recap a bit, let's say that all the maps that we mentioned, maybe Lacrum, Duma, Catalam, Ingisant, Gelkmaros, and Silentera, they will all be scaled to level 80, and you can farm their world bosses, and you will have level 80 monsters, and of course the corresponding loot, right? Am I correct?
Exactly, yeah.
So that's very important, because now the endgame content is going to be spread over more maps than it was currently, right?
Exactly, yeah. So you'll have different progressions and different paths to go, depending on how adventurous you feel.
Okay, that sounds nice. What really excites me as a player is also this Raging Valley that you mentioned, because this time it's going to be what I call usually true PvP, right? Because your gear doesn't matter. As you mentioned, the only thing that's going to have an impact is the stigmas and the Devanion skills, right?
Exactly, yeah. So it doesn't matter if your gear is really low or really high, it'll all be even here. So you'll all be on the same battlefield.
Yeah, really looking forward to test this with other players. Well, we did it a bit on the ERS already, but I think that's a very, very interesting feature. And going back a bit to the true essence of PvP, right? So there was also something I think we could mention about the whole PvP activities in this patch is a new system that's going to be introduced called the Fame system.
Yeah, so exactly, as you just said, these maps will basically all have access to the new Fame system. With this, as you complete different activities within the maps, you'll gain Fame points. This can be stuff like PvP, some dedicated quests, and so on like this. And then as you gain these points, you'll level up your Fame rank. you'll gain access to more items from NPCs within these maps. However, keep in mind you will be losing some points each week, so you'll have to keep your activities on these maps active to keep them topped up.
Okay, so it's a bit like this ranking system that we had in the past, right? That you keep on gathering points, and if you don't, you lose your rank eventually.
Exactly, yeah.
So let's now maybe talk about gear progression, because it's, in my opinion, and not only mine, something that has really changed with 7.5. And good news probably here about people who want to create a new character, or about people that are returning the game to the game. And what can you say about that, Andrew?
So, yeah, as you said, basically it's just going to be a lot easier in this patch to gear up at the earlier levels and when you first hit the end game. Within Ingerson and Gelk, you'll be farming some titanium coins that can be exchanged for PvP gear, and this gear gives you a decent starting point for PvP in general. In Aion and Belusia, you can now level up from the lower levels to level 80, all in one zone, and you will get some items every 10 levels to assist you with your leveling progress. We also have 2 new systems being introduced with this as well, the Odeons and the Runes. Now, you won't be able to upgrade your new accessories, but you'll have better base stats overall on them. You'll be able to place Odeons and into your necklaces, earrings, belts, and your general accessories to provide additional benefits. Just be aware that when unlocking an Odeon slot, you can get one of 3 different types. Now, if you don't get the type you want, you're going to need another item to try again and make sure you get the slot you want here. So due to this, I generally recommend not putting your mana stones in until you've received the slot you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's a tip that I got from friends playing on the ES. I played 2 there, but a friend told me, hey, you might want to warn people that maybe before they invest, money in socketing their mana stones, they want to make sure that the audience slots are going to be the ones that they want on that item. Otherwise, well, it's kind of a lost investment, let's say, in terms of items. Pro tip, guys. Always check first what kind of audience slots you have before actually socketing mana stones in an item in the future, starting 7.5. I also really like what you said about this leveling in Ingison and Gelkmaus. No, not Ingison and Gelkmaus, sorry, I'm getting confused. In Aion and Beluslan. So basically it means that now you can level up your character only on those maps if you want to, from the very beginning until level 80. Which makes it, of course, easier, and also the gear that you will get there is pretty good for leveling. Basically, that's something that is really, really nice. Maybe we want to say a word on PvE, because obviously there will be PvE content, right?
Yeah, so like every update, of course, we're going to have some PvE content in this as well. The biggest thing here will be the Altar of Ascension. Now, I don't want to spoil too much here, so you'll have to keep an eye on the news posts and stuff coming in the future, but we'll include more details about the Altar of Ascension and then the new dungeons and stuff that we have coming along, so keep your eyes peeled on the news.
Yeah, exactly. Together with this episode, there will be news explaining a bit the main features of the update. Be aware that you can already also read the patch notes, the early patch notes that we had for the early access server. Of course, not all information is there, but most, like 90% of the content of the patch is there. So many people already checked it, and you can still check it, and we'll release the complete patch notes shortly before the update, or on the day of the update, depending when it's ready. As usual, you know how it goes for most of you guys. I wanted now to maybe tackle the next topic, which is going to be the most important one in my opinion, and something really interesting for players. Exclusive info here, the GF features. Let's get started with the GF features. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's usually the adjustments that we make that are specific to our region regarding each patch. I think this is exclusive info for everyone, because we didn't announce yet what's going to happen on the different features that we have and on potential new features. Maybe a heads up on that, Andrew. What can you say?
So, basically if you're an avid watcher of Daeva's Tavern, you'll have noticed in the previous 2 episodes we've talked about GF features quite a lot and receiving your feedback as players. So, a lot of these changes here we have done from some of the feedback we've seen and read, And then we've also thrown in a few additional things that you'll get to hear about later on. But jumping straight into basically the first point, this is going to be some of the more European changes we've made to the fame system we've got going on here. So with the fame system itself, we're also adding some items here to make it easier overall to get some of your items and your gear progression stage. So from getting the fame system up and going, you'll be able to get some enchantment stones, some apostle transformation fragments, some rune fragments, some Odeon fragments, and minionite. So this will really help people catch up or know when they're going to be unlocking things. So that really slots into what we've been talking about on the previous episodes of having a clear gear progression path.
All right, is there going to be any consequence on the actual features that we have? I'm thinking about the small drops that we added in the past.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, basically with changes here and making it easier to get keener and adding keener to certain areas and some drops and stuff like this, we are going to be deactivating some of the things. For example, Lacrum, Dumahat and the Hidden Minion Warehouse are going to have their drop scripts removed. So some of the additional items you got from there will be removed for the time being. And then the instance gear drops in Proteum's Workshop, Stella's Development Laboratory, and the Makara of Bitterness. These will have their gear drops removed as well. And then with this as well, we'll see some changes to the morphing recipes that we normally see. So the overseas morphing recipes here will be removed. However, the morphing specific items will be automatically exchanged for keener during the maintenance. So you don't have to worry if you have these items, they're not going to become pointless.
Okay, so basically if you farm the items for the morphing, you will get compensated somehow with some kinas in exchange, right? I get it right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, that's a good thing, I guess. Can we say maybe a bit more about some more interesting features that's going to be
Yeah, so
added?
We're going to be upgrading, or updating anyway, the Atira Pass. This will now also include Odeons, and our fragment drop system will be updated to match the new 7.5 version. The Shugo map will also see some adjustments with price reductions and some other item changes there.
Yeah, I've heard that there's going to be a selection box of ultimate enchantment stones in there, also some Devenian skill chests. Interesting stuff overall. But you will be able to check by yourselves, of course, in-game. And now comes the very, very good part. We've been talking since quite some time about fighting the RNG aspect of the game, right? And I think you have some news for us here. Again.
Yes. So basically with 7.5, we've been in close cooperation with NCSoft to add a new feature that we're calling Dungeon NPCs. As mentioned within previous videos and stuff, we are trying to tackle the RNG, and as you just said there, we want to have a clear progression flow for gear in the future. So our next step in this system will be the new Dungeon Trade NPCs. This will be an NPC with selectable equipment from the high-end instances, as well as some consumables. To purchase items from this NPC, however, you'll need a new special currency. These will be called simple or ordinary instance coins. For the simple currency, you'll receive items like legendary PvE enchantment stones, keener, and legendary equipment. For the normal currency, you'll receive legendary and ultimate PvE enchantment stones, keener, and ultimate equipment. So roughly you can get, I'd say 16 simple coins and then around 20 ordinary coins each week if you have a gold pack activated. And this doesn't include entries with additional lunar or instance reset scrolls. And then with this, you'll be able to find a complete list of dungeons that will be included in the news soon.
Okay, so if we recap this a bit, it means that, for those dungeons that are in the list, every time you run it, you will get an additional currency. And what we wanted to achieve there is that you will be able to buy eventually at some point the gear. So you will not rely only now on running the dungeons and trying to be lucky and getting what you want, but also if you run the dungeons a lot, your chances will increase that you will actually get what you want at some point by exchanging those coins to the NPC, right?
Exactly, yeah. And this coin isn't just like a random drop or something you may get lucky to obtain. you'll get 1 coin each run, 100% chance.
Yeah, it's guaranteed, and that's again something we wanted to tackle. Maybe we can name a few dungeons that's going to be used for those features. Do you have any name in mind?
Yeah, sure. So basically from the normal mode instances, let's say, one of these will be the Potium's workshop. And then for the easy ones, you'll see some of the normal easy dungeons, so the Stellar Development Library, for example. So, as we mentioned above, with some of the removal drops from the dungeons, this system has been put in to really compensate there.
Yeah, as far as I know, there are many dungeons that are actually included. Baronex mentioned Stellar Development Laboratory, Macarna of Bitterness, and things like that. But of course, the complete list will be provided and will be also in the patch notes, obviously. And yeah, this is something we've been working on for quite some time. Finally, we could make it happen with the help of NCSoft, that we actually would like to thank for that. And probably more is coming in the future. I guess same as for the fragment drop, this feature is meant to be adapted, adjusted based on the needs of the players.
Exactly, yeah. Just because we've added this, it's not the end of our path at all. And if you guys have feedback on this system and how it runs in the game, please let us know. We'll be adapting things, maybe adding some new dungeons to it, and generally expanding it over the time. We're also not intending this to be a 7.5 exclusive thing, so when 7.6 or 7.7 comes around, this is completely pointless. And we want to keep this up to date, so when new dungeons come, maybe they'll be added in. Maybe not straight away, maybe a bit later, but we'll have to see what happens over time.
Okay, thanks a lot for the explanation. Just one thing I wanted to mention, because we didn't do it at the beginning, and I know that it is something that players will ask for, is to give the date of the patch, like the version that we will have for 7.5. And as far as I've been told, it's up to the 12th of December. So it means that we get all the Korean patches and up to this date, 12th of December of 2019, of course. So yeah, so that you can yourself check if you want what kind of content we will have. I know that many of you are always eager to check those things. I guess we covered pretty much the basics of the update. There is a lot more, obviously, and but the best way is to actually try it by yourself on the early access server or check the patch notes that are already available. And we will see you very soon in game to play 7.5 together. Thanks for watching the episode, and see you next time for next episode of Daeva's Tavern.
See you next time.